The Krell warships emerged from hyperspace like predators scenting blood. Their obsidian hulls reflected no light, absorbing all illumination from the nearby star. This was the 14th planetary system they had raided in as many cycles. No species had stood against them. None had even come close. "Primitive settlement detected," announced First Commander Razik. "Standard agricultural colony, minimal defenses." Supreme Leader Vex's mandibles clicked with pleasure. "Begin the harvest." For 3 centuries, the Krell Dominion had expanded unchallenged across the galactic arm. Their strategy never varied: identify isolated colonies, strip them of resources, and technology enslave the population. The strong species were incorporated into their armies. The weak became labor. Their current target was unremarkable: a blue-green world orbiting an average yellow star, inhabited by a relatively new spacefaring species called humans. "Their defense networks are activating," reported Tactical Officer Mirol. "Rudimentary missile systems and orbital platforms." Vex dismissed this with a flick of his claw. "Proceed with standard invasion protocol." As the dropships descended toward the colony, something unexpected happened. The human defensive arrays, initially deemed primitive, suddenly coordinated in complex patterns. 3 Krell cruisers exploded in rapid succession. "Impossible," hissed Razik. "Their technology cannot—" "Emergency transmission from ground forces," interrupted Communications Officer Drell. "The humans are counterattacking." Across the command bridge, Krell officers stared at their displays in disbelief. The human colonists, rather than fleeing in terror as expected, had organized into tactical units. They were using the Krell's own landing patterns against them, ambushing dropships with weaponry that seemed to adapt to Krell shielding frequencies. "This colony was surveyed as technological level 6, Razik protested. "They're fighting at level 9 capability." For the first time in his commanding career, Supreme Leader Vex felt uncertainty creep into his mind. "Retreat and regroup. We will return with the full battle fleet." But retreating proved more difficult than expected. The humans had deployed some kind of gravitational anchor that disrupted hyperspace calculations. The Krell Armada was forced to withdraw under conventional thrust, suffering substantial losses. Admiral James Walker faced the assembled United Earth Defense Council, his expression grave but determined. "The Krell attack on New Harmony Colony confirms what our deep space intelligence suggested," he explained. "These aliens have been systematically raiding and enslaving species across the galactic rim. They specifically target isolated settlements, avoiding direct confrontation with major military forces." Counselor Thomas leaned forward. "But they've never encountered humans before." "No," Walker agreed, "and that's our advantage. They expected us to behave like the other species, to panic, to be disorganized. They didn't expect a colony of farmers to have military training, or for our apparently simple defense systems to conceal adaptive technology. For decades, humanity had expanded cautiously into space, always wary of threats. Every human colony, no matter how small, maintained a militia. Every settlement had defense systems more sophisticated than their apparent development level would suggest. This was the legacy of Earth's long history of conflict. Humans never truly trusted peace. "How do we proceed?" asked Counselor Rivera. Walker activated the holographic display. "The Krell will return, but this time they'll bring overwhelming force. They can't allow a species to successfully resist them. It would undermine their entire conquest strategy." "Then we strike first," suggested General Mason. Walker nodded. "Operation Pushback begins now. We've used the encounter to map their communication protocols. Our quantum analysts have already decrypted their navigational codes. We know where their primary fleet is gathering." Supreme Commander Vex had assembled the largest battle group in Krell history, over 300 warships prepared to obliterate the human colony and any other settlements they discovered. The humans had bloodied them, but they would learn the consequence of defiance. "All ships report ready," said Razik. "The humans cannot possibly—" The sensors suddenly blazed with warnings. Human vessels were appearing throughout the Krell formation. Not just a few ships, but hundreds. They had somehow tracked the Krell fleet to its staging area and plotted precision jumps to surround them. "Open fire!" Vex commanded, but the humans struck first. Their weapons targeted specific vulnerabilities in Krell ship design that should have been unknown to them. Within minutes, the carefully arranged Krell formation dissolved into chaos. Their ships, designed to attack rather than defend, found themselves caught in crossfires. Commander Razik stared at the tactical display in disbelief. How could they know so much about us from a single encounter? The answer came when human forces breached the command ship. Unlike the Krell, who conquered through overwhelming force, the humans had sent small, specialized teams to capture rather than destroy key vessels. They wanted intelligence, technology, and prisoners. 6 months later, a delegation of 7 alien species arrived at Earth's diplomatic station. These were the representatives of worlds that had suffered under Krell raids for generations. They had come to meet the humans, the first species to not only repel a Krell attack, but to systematically dismantle their war machine. "We did not believe it possible," admitted Telvin, an ambassador from a world that had lost 3 colonies to Krell attacks. "The Krell have marauded across our systems for centuries. How did humans accomplish in months what our combined civilizations could? Not in generations?" Admiral Walker gave the simple truth. "Humans have been fighting each other since before we built cities. We've never stopped preparing for war, even in times of peace. When we encountered the Krell, we weren't learning how to fight. We were applying lessons we've been refining for thousands of years." The galaxy was changing. The once mighty Krell had been pushed back to their home systems, their conquered territories liberated. And at the center of this transformation stood humanity, newcomers to the galactic stage who had proven that sometimes the most dangerous species are those who have learned to survive themselves. As the Alliance formalized their pact, one truth became clear across the stars. They had marauded the galaxy until humans pushed back hard.